Hello, everyone. I am Mary Kwiatkowski and Sasha Joseph with RHAP, getting ready to speak with the most recent person eliminated. Nope. Cut that one out. We're not doing that this week. We are taking a pause from our exit interviews, our destination exit interviews, to do a really fun mid-season chat with Rick. So if you saw Rick and then you were surprised, and you're like, what happened? He didn't get eliminated. That's right. He didn't. Don't worry about it. It wasn't some sort of plot twist that you missed on the episode. But we are here to chat with Rick after episode 7 of Destination X. So if you haven't already, make sure you go and watch that episode. Check out all of our coverage on weknowdestinationx.com and then come back here for the interview. Rick, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Sasha. I love your show. I love being a guest here. Like, it's so unreal. When I got reached out to, hey, be on this show, I was like, uh-oh, am I going home? Like, is that it for me? Is this a surprise edit that I'm going home and these are my exit interviews? I was like, I guess they can do that, but oh, no. Happy to be here.
The clues were in front of you all along that you're gone.
That's right.
That would be a rough twist. No, we've just been watching. We've noticed that you've definitely had a very big part in this season so far. So wanted to kind of pick your brain about how things have been going, get some more insight maybe, and see kind of a mid-season check-in. Obviously, no spoilers for the rest of the season that we haven't watched yet, but up until this point, I guess just to start off, I think I'm gonna know the answer to this one, but I'm gonna ask anyway. How big of a fan of reality TV were you before applying for the show?
Okay. Not a big fan. That might be a shocker.
That is a shock.
I love games. I love board games. I love card games. But reality TV games really wasn't on my radar. I had watched Survivor a few times. I'd watched Amazing Race. But once I knew odds are, while I was going to be on this show, I started binge watching Traders. I was binge watching how many seasons of Survivor can I watch in like 3 weeks. I was studying my butt off on like social strategy, what works, what doesn't work, how to not get a target on your back. Those are all the things going through my mind. And I got a lot of tea to spill on like the games I was playing with people. Like, I'm not surprised that Josh called me a snake in episode 1. Shocker.
Oh,
But
we need to know.
Before we get into that, though, can we have a
Yes.
moment of silence for Janae? Like,
Oh, yes.
My
that was a
queen.
heartbreaking episode to watch.
And Rick, you've already brought up two things I was going to get into later, but since you already started talking about them, the Josh and Janae of it all, not back to back, but bookending so far this chunk of the season of you being called out by people who've left, starting with Josh calling you a snake and a schemer, and then ending with Janae after you did snake her, saying that you deserve to win. First off, in both of those instances, how did that make you feel?
So they were so different. Like with Josh, I truly believed we were in Milan. I truly believed him. And when he was getting up, leaving the bus, he's like, Rick, where are we? I mean, Ty also asked me the same question on the way to the map room. They're like, where are we? And I said Milan, and I had given them the background on why. So I wasn't trying to get them off the bus. I mean, I was already safe. I didn't need to misdirect them to save myself. I was truly trying to help them. Like, I like Josh. He was an advocate for us players. Like, he was able to talk to production the way we didn't know we could, right? I love that he's like, we need some food on this bus. We need some drinks. Like, he was saying the things we were thinking, but we didn't know if we could ask for a potty stop or a coffee break. And he just had the experience. So like, I wanted him around just to learn some of that TV behind the scenes stuff. But I didn't want him to go. I wanted him to stay. So that was Josh. And with Janae, we're going to get into that with this episode is, look, it's down to 3 of us going to the map room. One of us is going home. I don't want it to be me. So at that point, alliance is out the window. It's every man for themselves or woman. And like, if we didn't want another tiebreaker situation, we'd already said that earlier in the episode. We don't want tiebreakers because I knew if Pete won the tiebreaker, he's probably going to take Janae because I'm a stronger competitor. And if Janae wins the tiebreaker, she's probably going to pick Pete because they came in together. So I knew a tiebreaker, I'm out. So I couldn't have a tie. But what was so interesting is in that episode, you see, I tell them it's Croatia on the Italian border. had they both chosen that, that's both closer to Venice than where I put in Ljubljana. I would have totally gotten away had they listened to me. Like, that's the shocker. But they both didn't listen to me. Like, Janae went southern Croatia, thank goodness, and Pete was on the right track with Italy. It's also interesting that Pete didn't tell Janae, hey,
I
I'm going to
know.
Italy. You should go to Italy, and then I'm going home too. So many things had to work out right for me to still be on the bus.
And this is what I think for me personally, I've been so intrigued by your gameplay because I've been watching your YouTube channel and you know how
Ah,
you've been
thank you.
talk of course and just how you've been, you know, chatting about your strategy like pre game, but I'd love to hear a little bit more, you know, about this strategy, this like fluid moment that you've been having every episode where right? You started with Josh kind of calling you a snake pretty early. You know, would love to hear how that affected your strategy, maybe coming in, maybe it didn't. And then, you know, it moved to like, okay, now you're trying to be close with Biggie. Then you had to, right, move with like kind of with Shane, whatever that may mean, right? Targeting him. And then with Ty as well, right? Trying to like pin the thing on her, even though you did the same thing. And then, right, getting close with Peter and Janae. And of
I
course the
have, I
ending.
have, like you said,
Yes.
Sasha, I have bounced around, but I'm
Yeah.
kind of always in the middle.
Mhm.
And like, I wanted to play a middle of the
Okay.
road game. That was my strategy, is don't be too extreme, left or right. So if I'm on the bottom of one alliance, I'm actually at the top of the other alliance. They don't know about each other. So I'm trying to play, you know, there's always an out for Rick. If Pete and Janae go, well then I know I'm on the bottom, but at least I have a spot over here. What you missed to say was Rachel, when she got up,
Oh, yeah.
she was also putting a target on my back
Mm-hmm.
because she's like, don't trust Rick.
You can't
Yeah.
you can't
On
lose that reputation.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I got called by a snake by Josh.
Mhm.
I got called a rat by Rachel because she didn't like me talking about what was on the helicopter. But you're right. I was playing the middle,
And is
and
that something you came yeah, so you said you came in with, like, wanting
I
to do
came in
that.
with
I
that
love it.
strategy. It's the hardest way to play. It's the
Mhm.
hard because you're gonna make a mistake and you have to keep your stories straight with everybody on the bus. And let me tell you, I had some stories. And I think I got caught a few times in my life, but on the whole, I think I was able to weave that middle line. Yeah.
Yeah, this snake moniker is making a little more sense now if you're telling different stories to everyone.
And Kim hated me too. She was on to me. Absolutely despised me as a person. I love Kim. We all love Kim.
So based on that strategy, you know, what we've seen in the last episode, especially but the last couple, is you've got your secret alliance with Peter and Janae, and then
Yeah,
you still have some contact with like what you guys are, you know, calling the OGs, the people who were
that's
here
right.
before Peter and Janae.
Yeah.
From the viewer perspective, it really feels like it's pretty obvious that you're at the bottom of that. Was that how it felt in there, or did you feel like
Oh yeah.
maybe when
It,
Mac
it
was there with
totally
Biggie's
felt
there,
I
more with
was
them?
sorry to pick. I totally felt like I was by myself at the bottom of that alliance. But what you didn't see is Biggie and I we talked a lot. We talked
Hmm.
every night in the bunks because we were at the back end of the bus and nobody was around us. So we had some private time to compare clues. But I knew Shane was his number one, and I knew Allie and Shane were so close. So anything I told Biggie would probably get to that whole alliance. So I was sharing, but not everything. But that's why when I left to go get some clues from Biggie at the end of this episode, I'm like, Biggie, help me out here, because he knew that I had just saved him in Salzburg. I kept him with that horseshoe. I saved him from the map room, so he kind of owed me one. And he said Ljubljana, which I'm not sure at that point did he know Venice, and he was trying to lead me astray. Don't know, but it was the only thing that made sense to me. If we go through all the clues, with the bag challenge, what was the odd man out? I really thought Ljubljana was what they were trying to get us to go towards. Um, but no, so I'm sharing with Biggie a little bit. But everyone now says in their confessionals like they knew that I was working with Pete and Janae. I'm not sure they really did because really I would only talk to them for like 30 seconds a day. And those 30 seconds are on the air, But the whole other time of the bus, I'm sitting with the OGs and we're plotting and scheming how to get out Pete and Janae. I'm in those conversations. So like, I don't try to go and be seen talking to Peter. Like a lot of those conversations are in the hallway or a whisper when we're, going down to the bathroom. Like it's totally not on air when I'm whispering to Pete and Janae. We tried to keep it pretty quiet.
Yeah,
That's
and I'd love to hear a little bit, yeah, more about this like relationship building because I think that that has been a really beautiful strategy that's coming out, right? Like information is key, but you're not getting information if you don't have the right relationship. So how did you, start, right? Like you're in Belgium, I believe y'all were right on the plane, in that hangar. And, did you, because you talked about this a little bit, right, on your channel about who you were looking at and who you were excited to be wanting to be aligned with, right? I think you talked
Yeah.
about Mac specifically. So I'd love to know, like how did you kind of start with like, okay, this is who I think I want my relationship with. And then now, here we are with maybe
Yeah.
Biggie, because in my mind, I think you and Kim could have been a good, really funny, interesting
Yeah.
alliance. So, I'd love to hear your
Great.
relationship
Yeah.
evolving.
So as soon as Josh called me the snake, like I was on the outs with everybody. So like I knew at that moment I need to build relationships, and so I started with Biggie because he was, we got along with sports, with being so close on the bunks, and then also Ty reached out. She was the one that like would come and sit with me when I was all alone in the front of the bus. Everyone's in the back, not trusting me. She would come up in the morning. She was putting her makeup on, and we'd talk about family. And so we were growing closer, but then that was right when the Amsterdam challenge came on and had to get rid of her. But Kim never reached out. Shane and Allie, they were doing their own thing in the back of the bus. So like really, until Pete and Janae came on, I thought for sure I was going to be the lone wolf, which was hard. If I'm trying to play the I'm friends with everybody strategy, when no one trusts you, you have to adapt, and that's what I did when those two new people came on the bus. I'm like, that's the only way forward for me, and it worked up until this point.
And it seemed like you were really the only person to jump on
Yeah.
Peter and Janae as like, hey, here's two new people. Let me work
Yeah.
with them. Is that what it felt like there too?
No, so it felt like on the bus. How unfair is this? We've worked so hard to get rid of 3 people, and now we're bringing 2 more on. So I voiced the same concern to stay with the OGs, right? To build that rapport of I'm also pissed off that 2 more people came on, but inside I'm like, here's my opportunity. So you saw as soon as Pete came and talked to me privately, I'm like, it's you and me and Janae. We're doing this. We're a secret alliance. Let's go to the end together. And that was the plan. So that was what set the plan in motion that I've got 2 alliances now. Force them out verbally with the OGs, but also keep them in my side pocket. And I fed them Salzburg. I fed them Munich. Like I fed them Amsterdam. So it was like 3 exits in a row. I'm like, guys, I'm giving you every single answer. You should have been gone by now. Both of you could have been gone, but I keep feeding you the right answer. So you got to start helping me out too. And you saw that last episode. I put it to Peter. I'm like, you got to start winning some challenges. And then he got out back. And I'm like, all right, you paid me back. Well done.
That's great. Yeah, just be like, what are you bringing to the alliance? So it seems like based on your studying up before the show and watching the traders, you did recognize Peter. Had you recognized Josh as well?
No, hadn't recognized Josh. No. And actually, I hadn't even watched Trader Season 2 yet. So I didn't recognize Pete.
So you didn't know Peter
Didn't know
Pan.
Pete, Janae, or Josh. So they were all 3 just normal people. But come to find out who they are. Yeah, quickly.
That's so funny. Were they pretty open about that? It seemed like Josh kind of told everyone what he'd done.
They all, I mean, Josh was, he wanted to brag about that. It was obvious.
Have you, since watching the show, seen any of their shows?
Yeah, so I've watched Love Island, I've watched parts of Bachelor, and I've watched parts of all of Josh's escapades.
Oh,
That's so funny.
not the pots and pans. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
I love this.
You mentioned them briefly, but Shane and Allie, what has your relationship like them been? And also, what have your views on their relationship been like?
I just thought it was a dumb gameplay. It's a dumb strategy. You're telling us that you're working together. So it's a outright, I'm sharing everything with her and she's sharing everything with me. So it puts a target on your back. And it's also distracting yourselves from looking at clues, because they're all over each other instead of looking up. I mean, you saw they were holding hands during the challenge. I was looking and memorizing buildings and names and clues and looking for birds. Like, I'm playing the game hard because I'm not worried about, falling in love or pretending to fall in love. Like, it's just stop. Like, it's just taking up your brain power. Don't do
So,
it.
so be honest, the bird
yeah.
thing, is that real? Is it like, how much has the bird thing helped?
I'm like, that's what I do for a living. I look for birds.
That's his YouTube channel. Yeah.
Yeah,
You gotta
it's funny.
check,
Everyone
maybe
follows.
he just found a niche.
Fair.
Everyone follows me from the show, and they're like, "Oh," and then they're like, "Oh, all he does is talk about birds."
Oh my
No,
God. Have
so,
you
like,
watched the, oh my God, no, wait, we'll talk about that later.
sometimes
Question.
the
Yes.
absence of birds helps more than seeing the
Okay.
birds. All right, so figure that out. In France, it was either we're in Paris or we're in Cannes, right? That was the two options that people were guessing. Well, in Cannes, it's right on the ocean, and I had been in southern France that year, and every day, all the time, you're seeing seagulls and terns flying over because you're near the ocean. Well, none of those birds were flying over when we were in the Labyrinth Challenge or at the Croquet Challenge. So I knew from the absence of those seabirds, we're nowhere near the ocean. And I was hearing the collared dove, which I know is in a big metropolitan city. So I'm like, we are in Paris, we're not in Cannes, but I'm not sharing with that. What no one's seen is I haven't told anybody that I'm a bird watcher. I
Right.
kept that secret. There were so many things I didn't tell anybody how much I had traveled because I didn't want to put a target on my back. Like, I've been to 49 countries. The only thing I told people is I went to Paris on my honeymoon in 1999, and I went to London in 1997. But since then, I've been running a restaurant for 20 plus years, open 7 days a week. So I can't travel. When in reality, I had sold that restaurant a couple years ago and been doing nothing but traveling. So, like, all those things that would put a target on your back that you've traveled, kept that quiet. Like, Allie came on the bus, and the first thing she said is, "I've traveled so much." Matt came on the bus. He was like, "I've backpacked all through Europe." Why would you say that? That's like the biggest target. So I think some of those things that I kept quiet, like, if people are like, if you've never traveled, how come you know all this about every city? And so that's when they're like, he's a snake. Don't trust him, because I'm not telling you the whole story about
Right.
who I am. Yeah.
That makes total sense. And just one more follow up with the Allie and Shane moment is, do all of you at this moment, right? Like on the bus in the episodes, do you feel that they are a threat? Like, is that something, I know you, Rick, are seeing it, but is everyone seeing it? Are folks wanting to split them up, or is this like a vibes only? It's fine.
Yeah. So Mac was definitely the threat. You wouldn't want to go up against
Oh,
Mac in the finale. So I'm not worried about Allie and Shane until we get rid of the real threats, which was Mac. So as soon as Mac was gone, now the next biggest threat is Biggie. He's smart, so I'm not worried about going up against Shane one-on-one at the end, because it's got to be geography related, and he just doesn't have those skills. Allie is smart geography wise, but I just feel like without her alliance, if it was 1v1 at the end, I think I can beat them. I don't think I could. Well, it would be tough to go up against Biggie or Peter, but I'd like a good challenge. So once Mac's gone, now it's break up the showmance, because it's just I don't think it's fair with two people that are sharing a brain. Yeah, maybe.
yeah. Thank you.
Well,
That
thank
makes
you
total
so
sense.
much for answering all this. We have a ton more we'd love to ask you, but that'll have to be saved for whenever we
No,
do get to your.
no, don't say it's over. This was too much fun.
We will talk again soon, I'm sure.
Yes.
Hopefully not too soon. But Rick, wishing the best of luck. And yeah, can you go ahead and plug your YouTube channel and anywhere else that you want people to follow you?
Yeah, so it's two places, YouTube and Instagram. It's Birding with Rick.
Awesome. Thank you so much for chatting with us.
Yeah, thanks.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.